Thanks for stopping by Pete's Garage. In this video, we're going to talk about the rear seals. Specifically, can you reuse them if you're rebuilding your engine? And if you choose an aftermarket seal, what to measure and what to look out for. Because the seal retainer that comes with the block or was made with the block at the factory and aftermarket seal retainers are vastly different. They're made for different types of seals, and if you don't check a few basic things, it'll be the main reason why your engine leaks. So first, you look at the seal retainer that came with the block. And this one here is out of a 69 block. This one is out of a 77 block, which came out of this block exactly. So this one came with this block. And if you look at the part numbers on the seal retainer, they're virtually identical. So the seal retainers have been unchanged for quite some time. However, if I compare it to the billet replacement, they look the same, kind of the same except for the casting, but they are very, very different. The first thing that's very, very different about it is the size of the groove. If we look at the groove, you can see the shape is a little different on the groove here. Okay, so we got a different shape. And well, let's measure the difference. First, the billet, we'll measure this one is about 250 thousandths, so it's a quarter of an inch. And the one on the aftermarket is bigger, 280 thousandths. So it's 30 thousandths difference between the width. That's number one. Now let's measure the depth. Zero out my caliper again. Measure the depth on the aftermarket billet. Do it this way. The depth is about 200, let's call it, let me measure it one more time. Same thing, about 215 thousandths for the depth on the aftermarket billet. And I'll measure the depth on the one that came on the block, or came with the block, factory. And this one is 285 thousandths. That's a huge difference. That's because this original that came with the block is designed or made for a different type of seal. So let's take a seal. And by the way, if you do take a seal out, you can reuse it if it's in good shape. But when you buy a rebuild kit, it comes with a new seal, and for $4 or $5 when you have it apart, why not put in a new seal? So let's look at the difference of what happens when I install it. This is the inside of the block that faces the crankshaft. So I'll put my seal in the correct way. It goes this way. And I'll push it in all the way, push it down all the way. Now I will take another seal inside of the block, put it in the way it's supposed to go, push it down all the way. Now let's take a look from the inside of the block. From the inside of the block, you see how much of that lip or how much of that seal is sticking out? And if I look at the same part of the block on this one, you can look at this one and compare the two. This is sunk well below the seal retainer, which means this is not going to be touching the crankshaft. So it's going to seal differently. That's number one. The first thing that's important is that the seal is going to sit deeper in the original, because this original seal and this engine originally came with a rope seal. The rope seal, as you can see, if I take this out of here, the rope seal is way thicker, way bigger than the aftermarket seal. So the rope seal is what came with the engine from the factory. A lot different. So what else is different? Not only is the dimension of the seal different, if I take this out of here, if I take a look inside, now we're going to look inside, and you might be able to see like there's little points pricking up in there, and there are little lands. I'll try and get a flashlight kind of at an angle so maybe you can sort of see. It's kind of tough to see the shadow, and I'll get as close as I can here. You can see those little prickly things inside of this retainer. The purpose of those prickly things in there were to hold the seal in place. to prevent it from rotating. And here's a simple demonstration. If I take my billet retainer, put the seal in like that, and push it down as hard as I can, push it in there. If I push on one end of the seal, it'll come out of there very easy because it's a smooth groove. Makes sense? However, if I take the same factory seal or seal retainer, put the seal in the way it's supposed to go, push it down into the groove, those little prickly things at the bottom of the groove are going to poke into the seal. Now if I try and push this out, I can't push it out. It won't move either direction. If I lift it up, I can get it out. So those little prickly things in there are what hold the seal in place. And they are designed to hold the rope seal in place. When you put the rope seal in here and you push this in there, you actually push the rope seal in to those prickly things, and that's what holds the rope seal in place. Also makes it very difficult to get out. Now let's look at the block where these mate, and let's take a look at the groove in the block and measure to see the difference between the rope seal that came with the engine from the factory and if you use an aftermarket seal, what is the difference? So now we're looking at the back seal groove in the block. The first thing to notice, when I take the seal retainer that came with this block and I hold it up to here, the first thing to notice is that the shape of this groove for the seal, which would be the bottom of the engine, is different shape than the top. This is wider. This actually has the same dimensions of the aftermarket, so if you use the aftermarket seal, it will fit in there, right? And the reason it's smaller here, even though they had the rope seal, is because it'll fit tighter in this groove because they could not cast the little prickly things inside the cast iron. Okay, that's number one. Next is the depth. Now, the depth of this slot is similar to the seal here, but this is what's important. Remember, they were looking, or we had the rope seal is what originally came with this engine, and it does fit in this groove, right? Fits in that groove pretty easily. But if I put an aftermarket seal in this block and I push it all the way down like that, I'm going to take a measurement, right? And this is the measurement I'm going to take. I want to make sure that this seal is actually going to touch the crankshaft. That's the most important thing. That's how it seals. It has to touch the crankshaft. So if I take a straight edge, put it straight across here, like that, I can look underneath here, and if you shine a light, you can see that it doesn't touch on the bottom. Okay, so here's the seal, here's the bearing, here's the straight edge. Okay, now if I move this, you can see that it's not even touching that seal. And if I take a feeler gauge just to go underneath there, there's a gap underneath there. It doesn't even touch the seal, hardly even touching it. So let's go measure the crankshaft and see what the difference is between the journal on the crankshaft and the size of the journal that rolls on the seal, that rests on the seal that has to seal. So here we are looking at the two different journals. Here's the journal for the bearing. I'll set my caliper at 0 and I will measure this one, the journal for the bearing. And this is 750 thousandths. This is slightly bigger. It goes from 750 and this goes to 815. So the outside journal is roughly 65 thousandths bigger than the bearing journal. 65 divided by 2 is, let's call it 33. Okay, 33 thousandths bigger that sticks out from the bottom. So let's go back to the block and see the gap between the bearing and this, particularly where the bearing the seal rides, and see the height to see if this will even touch the seal. So the journal that rides on the seal here is 32 thousandths lower than the bearing surface. And again, if I put a straight edge in here, and I'll try and get to the close to the edge as possible. And I'll take a 32 thousandths feeler gauge and we'll see how much clearance there is here. And that fits right underneath. If I lift this up, I'll put that right on the corner, and if I go like that, it is just about touching that. So the seal right there that rides on the crankshaft is just barely touching the crankshaft, which means it's not going to seal properly because this groove is deeper and this groove is not made for the aftermarket seal that's in there. If I take this and pop this out of here, incidentally, I don't know if you can see this. You see on this edge there's like a pound out mark where you can see somebody kind of hit it with a screwdriver, it looks like, because usually when seals are being changed within the vehicle, someone comes in here with a punch and hits this really hard to try and drive the seal out. That's why that's like that. So I'm just going to pop the seal out of here. Now I'll put the rope seal in here. This is the rope seal that the engine actually came with. And if I push this in here as much as I can, it widens out because you are putting a radius on there. If I put this down, now this, I can't even touch the bearing surface because that seal is much lower. This is made for this type of seal. That's why the rope seal seals better than the aftermarket seal. Because right now, I'm not even sitting flat. If I put this flat on the bearings and I come over here, it runs into the rope seal. That means I have 32 thousandths of crush on this seal with the crankshaft to make it seal, and that way it won't leak. That's the difference between what came from the factory and what happens when you decide to change to an aftermarket seal. You're changing the seal, but the seal is not the same size as it came from the factory. Now here's another difference. You can see the boss on this retainer that came with the engine. See how big that is compared to the one on the billet one. It's different. And the holes are different. The depth is different. I measured it. The hole on the retainer that came from the factory is about 35 thousandths deeper. And why does that make a difference? Well, this engine was leaking originally, and I couldn't figure out why. Where is there a leak path? Why was this leaking? Well, when I took this apart, I got some soap on that. That's just some dish soap. Watch this. If I put some air in the hole, watch what happens. Look at that. It leaks. There's a leak. The leak path from the billet seal is right at the bottom of each of these holes, and you can see the crack. There's a crack at each one of these because the standard length for the bolt that holds the oil pan down goes to the bottom of the hole and ends up cracking the seal. And this is the side that faces the engine, so oil under pressure can go through here, come through the screw, and leak to the outside of the engine. So these billet seal retainers are great. They're really nice. They do give you extra clearance in this area, especially when you're using a girdle like I'm putting on this engine, but they are different in dimensions than the one that came with the engine. So when you do your rear seal, any seal, front seal as well, and you're changing from the part that came with the engine and you're using an aftermarket part, it is very important to measure the clearances to make sure that the aftermarket part and the aftermarket seal are going to have enough engagement between the parts so that the seal is pressing against the crank and it will actually seal. If the block that you bought, if you're rebuilding an engine and it originally came with a rope seal and you're changing to an aftermarket, you will have to, number one, measure what the original depth is and the difference between that and the rope seal or whatever seal it came with, and you'll have to put a shim behind the retainer in the groove. You put a shim behind there to bring the seal closer to the crankshaft to make sure it seals. Then do a dry assembly of it to make sure that it seals. So you can reuse your seal if you want to, but when you get your seal kit, just use a brand new one. But check your clearances and make sure there's enough engagement so that the seal actually does its job and holds the oil inside of the block. Now, As I go along, I'm rebuilding this engine, a lot of information about reusing parts. So hit subscribe and like so you can follow along with this as I rebuild this engine and decide which parts to use and which parts to replace. Thanks for stopping by Pete's Garage.